The No Nonsense Roundtable. It's a weekly show broadcast on Rochester, New York's 50,000-watt iHeart radio station, News Radio Wham 1180. The host, Dom Geneva, interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. What you are about to hear is a recording of a previous broadcast with limited commercials. Now, here's host, Dom Geneva.
Well, welcome everybody to another edition of your No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Geneva, your host every Saturday right here, and all our former shows are on NoNonsenseRoundtable.com. We got like 300 and something. Go listen. You'll have a lot of fun. Now, I have some people that are somehow or other involved in the music business here today. A fellow by the name of Jerry Falzone. And Jerry, I asked him, I said, well, Jerry, you are a musician and, a lot of talent and well known here in Rochester and albums. I said, how should I introduce you? And he says, I don't even know. I have no. You know what? I'm going to have you introduce yourself. I'm taking no responsibility for this whatsoever. This does not really bode well, for the rest of the show. Hopefully we get a whole hour here, but let's see if you can introduce yourself and the other two gentlemen that are here in the studio with me, Jerry.
I can't wait to introduce them. The only thing I can tell you right now that I'm excited about, I'm on the board of directors for the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. I'm also a committee chair for bringing a brand new music community to Daytona Beach, Florida, with the Atlantic Center for the Arts. And I'm also really excited about the fact that I live in Florida now, but I fly up here probably every month and a half to play in the area. So I'm just thrilled with the way that things have been going down here.
Share playing with Golisano or anything like that? I mean, he's down there too.
No.
So tell
not yet.
No, okay. So tell me why you're here.
Well, right now I'm here. I had a couple of shows to do. One tomorrow night and another one coming up. Main one that I want to talk about here right now is the fact that the three of us are doing a show at Bishop Kearney High School on October 25th. And we're doing that to raise money for the auditorium renovations that they're doing over there. They're actually going to be making the auditorium at Bishop Kearney High School into a performing arts center. That's why we want to help them.
So tell me about the group and what kind of music you play and everything.
That's what I love about this particular show because it's a very, very diverse. We've done this show about 4 times, I think, before. The Bill Tibero Band is, I can say this because he doesn't have to be promoting himself. It's an extraordinary jazz band. It's original and it's the most melodic band you're going to hear doing instrumental music. It's just a beautiful, beautiful band. Chris Wilson, I honestly believe Chris is one of the truly great singer-songwriters in the United States right now. He's got a beautiful voice. He's a wonderful songwriter. And my band is a rock and roll band. So my band is Liar's Moon, by the way. I think that we've got a great history. We've got a great reputation in town here. We're a totally original band, so we write our own songs.
Really?
And absolutely. And we get away with that in a market like Rochester. I couldn't do this in Daytona Beach. I'm finding that right now, but Rochester's got a great music scene, and they allow you to do that.
Okay, I mean, they're looking more for cover songs, in a bigger market like that. Is that what it is, or what?
In Daytona Beach, you have to do Jimmy Buffett. You have to do the Allman Brothers.
I think you get fined if you don't play Jimmy Buffett.
Absolutely. If you don't do Jimmy Buffett, it's a $20 fine. If you don't do it all night long, then it's a $30 fine. It's awful.
So my question I always ask people, and I don't know if anybody else likes the question or not, but I love the question. It's like how did you get involved in music? What did you want to be when you were 10 years old? I mean, did you like
picked
music?
the right age.
So yeah, 10 years old.
I was upstairs with my cousin and my brother watching The Wonderful World of Disney, and it was Davy Crockett, and I was really into him when I was 10 years old. And my mother was downstairs, and she called up. She said, "You got to come down here. This is hilarious." I came downstairs, and she was watching the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show for the first time. And I was like, I'm 10 years old. My mother thinks it's funny. It's funny. Big deal. Can I go watch Davy Crockett again? Yeah. The next morning when I went to school, every girl in school was giggling, crying, screaming. And when I realized it was because of what I saw on TV last night, I thought, there's something in this rock and roll that I need to be involved in. So I started playing, I think, when I was 14, and I've never stopped. I was on the road for quite a long time, for about almost 10 years. And then when I got off the road, I just realized that I don't have to travel to play, and I have never stopped playing. This has been a lifelong passion.
What an intelligent little boy. At 10 years old, you realized that it was a way of attracting the opposite sex. I mean, there you go.
I only look dumb.
Well, hopefully 10 years old. Yeah, that's what you got to say. So, Chris, tell me about you.
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter. I've just been doing it my whole life.
When did you first get interested? Was it at the same thing, little kid?
Yeah, I was. My mom was sort of the folk group leader, they called it, at our church when I was a kid. And so she was the music leader. And so I would always just be sitting in the background, sort of by osmosis, learning all of these songs. And one day at 4 years old, she tells me that I stood up in the choir loft of the church and sang this hymn to the top of my lungs in perfect pitch, she said. And she said it was so striking at the time that everybody that was in the choir stopped singing, and the only voice that you could hear in the church was mine. And I sang the entire song at 4 years old. And she said, when I finished, she stood up and turned around to the choir loft and clapped for me. And see, that's the thing. And she said, I turned to her and I said, they like me. They really like me.
Okay.
And I was and I think about that moment all the time, because I think, geez, that was like the first arrow painted on the ground,
Yeah. Well, so, God gave you a gift.
I mean, it was such a remarkable, I think I can really attribute almost every moment after that to that moment.
Okay.
Isn't that funny?
Okay, so Jerry's story is that he did this to attract girls. Yours was to serve God. So far we have like two ends of the spectrum here, right?
Well, it's funny, if unintentionally at the moment, because I was 4 years old. But what's funny is that is the path that my life has taken. Isn't that funny? How that that does work that way.
Talk more about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I'm a singer songwriter. I sort of just grew up just singing as much as I possibly could. I used to stand out at the end of my driveway and stand up on a rock. We lived in the middle of nowhere. And I would just stand there and sing to the cars driving by. Like, I was so sort of singularly focused on being a singer. And again, that's right after that. I used to stand up and sing John Denver songs at the end of my driveway. And I was just, so it's funny because it's really, if you could ask, there is no point in my life after that moment I just talked about where I would have ever answered anything other than I want to be a singer.
Yeah. That reminds me of something. I was a little boy. I would go if there was a commercial on TV, let's say for peanut butter, I would go to the cabinet, get the peanut butter, and repeat it to the guy on TV. And I got involved in advertising. It's
Isn't
sort of
that
the same
funny?
thing. Yeah, at a very young age,
it's amazing.
You got pointed into a direction. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and then, but interestingly, so I sort of went on I moved to Los Angeles right out of high school, and had some real success. I did a television show on MTV, and oh, I'm sorry. I thought you heard something. See, I did the thing. Anyway.
We'll explain this when we come back from the break.
I did a television show on MTV, which was pretty successful, cool. and so I was touring. I've toured all over the world.
Yeah.
But again, that path sort of led me back to my faith. I do a lot of music that's in that realm now, and yeah, I'm a very blessed man.
Well, that is a great segment, and I haven't announced your last name yet, so that's just
last name is Wilson.
Okay, and okay, so Chris Wilson and Bill's been sitting here very attentively, quietly, and gentlemanly, and we are heading to a break, and we are going to talk to Bill when we return. This is Dom Genova for my friends at Martin Ising Dry Cleaning in Fairport. Well, it's that time again. You're starting to wear long sleeve shirts and you got to schlep them to the dry cleaner and schlep them. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. You do what I do. You call Martin Ising Dry Cleaning in Fairport. They pick them up and they drop them off, and they do a great job. Their Google rating is 4.9 out of 5. You can, oh my God, it's amazing. Their number is 425-4242. 425-4242. I use them. You should use them. This is Dom from my friend Jim Shelley and his Fanatics Pub and Blues Stage in Lima. We talk all the time about the great blues shows he has, and his patios open on weekends for free entertainment. Jim also has the Bills game on every Sunday. You can go there and watch the Bills in a setting that's more like, well, Cheers than a big and personal sports bar. Exit 10, Route 390, go east a couple of miles and you're there. I'll be there. Come say hello. Welcome back. We are talking to three gentlemen in the music business. Now, Jerry, I mean, is the group? I mean, the three of you together. This is not like the group you play with all the time, right? This is like three guys together for the special show you have coming up on the 25th, right?
Well, to a degree, we certainly don't play together as a band by any means. But Bill has his own band. It's a beautiful band.
Okay.
They're going to be playing at the show. Chris is he's going to play up there by himself. He might have a couple of people that come up and play with him. You never know. And then I have a rock and roll band, so it's three entirely different kinds of music. But we've done this show four or five times already, and it goes over very well. Okay. We've been really good friends for many, many years now, and we have a really nice cross-pollination of fans for what we all do. And every time that we've done the show, we gain fans from the other people all the time. It's a great thing.
It's at Bishop Carney. It's on 25th. Now, how do you get tickets for this?
tinyurl.com, I believe it is. We'll make sure of that before the end of the show.
Before the end of the show.
But,
so we were talking to Chris, and at the end of that last segment, there was a little bit of a glitch here, and so I coach my guests, and I hold my finger up, and I said, the index finger. Okay, don't look at me like that. I hold the index finger up when we have a minute to go, and I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is in the entertainment business. I hold up and the natural tendency when I hold up the one finger is to stop, and there's a whole minute left. There's a whole minute left. So that happened just now with Chris. I hold my and he stopped. Okay, but there's an excuse for this. Now, what was the excuse?
Well, I thought I heard a phone or a bell go off, and I thought that you were just saying we're going to stop and start again. That's what I was assuming was happening. So I thought you were being like, no, take a minute.
No, that was the angel getting
yes.
that was the angel getting its wings.
Well,
okay, that's what that was.
That's a lot more poetic.
Well, and we were talking about you and your relationship with God at that time, and the bell rang, and that could be.
I'll take it.
You never know. Now, Bill, we've been ignoring you all this time.
I don't feel ignored.
So Bill, tell me. Well, we're going to get to your last name first because we didn't do that with Chris. Bill,
it's Bill Tiberio.
Bill Tiberio. So tell me about you, Bill. At 10 years old, what did you want to do? We have somebody who wanted to meet girls, and another one who wanted to meet the Lord, and how, well, not literally meet the Lord, what's with you?
I don't have a lightning bolt story like that, but I do have kind of a humorous Beatles reference in that my mom was a very young mother of three boys by the time the Beatles came to America, and there was a fever on the radio and on TV that the Beatles are coming. And she was so, engrossed in being a mom and taking care of three boys. And this is early 1960s. So dads were not very helpful at the time. She was doing everything, didn't even have a car at that time. And she heard that the Beatles are coming. And she thought they were bugs. Everybody's getting excited. She thought she was nervous, like there's some infestation that's coming from England, and so that's how out of touch my family was. And here it was. You celebrated the moment, went to school, and said, "I'm going to be a rock and roll star." I don't have quite that lightning bolt moment, and I didn't stand up in church and bellow at the top of my lungs like Chris.
So did you play for food or something?
I'm trying to come up with a slightly different angle here, but I did kind of a traditional route to music in that I actually went to the school district that I teach in now. I just started my 41st year as a public school teacher.
Oh, God bless you.
And I was in Fairport as a student, and at about 10, I started playing an instrument, a wind instrument. It was clarinet. I played that instrument because it was the only instrument we had in the house. My dad had owned a clarinet. Now, he never played it for very long, I think maybe a couple of years. He was a football player, an athlete, and a girl chaser. And the clarinet wasn't fitting in that life plan of his. He didn't practice it. But we had a clarinet. The serial number on that clarinet was like 152. So it was a very early model. And I fell in love with that instrument. And I had an incredible teacher that is still a very, amazing influence in my life as an educator. And I started playing clarinet in the school band. So that was my entry point to music. I didn't know at that point that it would be a passion that I would carry forever. I didn't know that I would be an educator and that would be a passion that I would carry forever. Those kind of developed more naturally over the next, say, 5-10 years.
And it's really amazing when you find out how people got into what instruments. I love Scott Mayo's story. He says because his mother wouldn't let him have anything bigger than a clarinet in the house.
Right.
I mean,
I actually love the clarinet.
Yeah.
I don't get a chance to play it professionally that often, but that was my college major. And I haven't had instruction on saxophone, but it just became something that when you're in high school, you want to be in the jazz band. I was a clarinet player, so I said, I got to learn the saxophone. So my senior year, I picked up a saxophone. I started teaching myself, and I became involved with the jazz band. So.
Well, the clarinet, you talk about instruments and talking about attracting dates, is that the guitar will do it. And back in the day, maybe with Benny Goodman, the clarinet would do it, but that's not exactly something where they're really. There's a story there. Go ahead. No, there's a story. Come on, tell me the story.
The clarinet has a really beautiful sound that's very attractive to people. So, and the fact that somebody that's really a tall person that plays a small instrument, I think that there's some appeal to the sound of an instrument. Especially if it maybe looks unnatural in your hands if you're such a big person. So. But anyway, I think the clarinet has a beautiful, attractive sound that many people really, really love.
So the three of
you don't hear it in pop music. You won't hear it at this concert.
No. So the three of you, I mean, this is the way you either support yourself, make money, or whatever. What Jerry, tell me, what's the first gig you have? I love these stories that somebody was playing at Bernie's bar mitzvah or something like that. I mean, what was the first gig you had? Like somebody gave you $5 or so. I don't care.
I actually was in a band that ended up being on the road, and we had a record thing and all that going on. But when we first started, we were horrible. And the first gig that we got was, it was a place over on St. Paul Boulevard called Amalfi's. Quite a long time ago. And it was a mafia thing. we got booked as a top 40 band in this mafia thing. And so that when we got introduced, the guy said, "What's the name of your band?" We said, "It's Pearl." So he goes up on the mic, goes, "The Poils from Las Vegas."
From Las Vegas.
That was my introduction to the life of music. It was a pretty bad gig.
Yeah. Well, what was the atmosphere of the place? People throwing bottles at one another? I mean, it was a rough place or not?
No, it wasn't at all.
Place, huh?
It was a dinner place.
Really?
Yeah. It was a lot of fun looking at these people because these are people that you'd see on the news a lot, and some of them got blown up in a car a little while after that. But it was just a very interesting gig. It was a fun afternoon on some levels for sure.
Well, I got here in '94. I have no comprehension of what the mob scene was here like in Rochester. Apparently, it was rather robust.
It was robust. Yeah.
And So when did you get to the point where you're making like a decent amount of money with this? I mean, it
was about 3 years after that when we actually finally got on the road and we got to be a really good band. We had a drummer in that band who came up to me at one point after 3 weeks, said, "I have to quit this band because you're making me play bad." And so it wasn't a really good thing, but we got another drummer that walked in to audition for us, and that guy was so good, he turned us into a really good band, and then we started making money.
Oh, how humiliating is that? Sounds like me with my dates when I was a boy. Oh, you're not good enough to be seen with. Well, with that, we are heading in to the news break, and we're going to see you on the other side. This is Dom Genova from my friends at Jack Greco Furniture. Like I like to say, you buy a car every couple of years, you probably take your money and put it into furniture for, well, decades. Now, go someplace where they treat you right and they have good stuff. Not like these big box stores. Go to Jack Greco. And this is the end of the year. They have closeout savings on their outdoor furniture. Hey, the winter's not going to last forever. It's going to seem that way, but it's not going to last forever. Go see Jack Greco. Well, welcome back. You're listening to the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Genova, your host. And in my studio today, I have three very talented musicians. And Chris here, we introduced Chris to you in the last couple of segments, and he is going to perform for us. But the first thing I'm going to have you do is answer the question that I asked Jerry. What was the first paid gig that you got?
You know, I was thinking about that when you asked Jerry, and I remembered that my mother was the medical staff coordinator at Lakeside Hospital in Brockport. Mm-hmm. That's where we live. And so one day she just said she had $30 in the budget to that was for a medical staff party. So she was in charge of the entire medical staff, all the doctors for their annual meetings and all of this stuff. And she said, I could give you $30 to play for the doctors. And I think I was 13, and I could not have been more thrilled to do that. Yeah. And it was great because I grew up learning all of my mom's generation's music, which was all the Simon and Garfunkel and Beatles and James Taylor and all of this stuff. So she's like, the doctors are going to love you because you're going to play all the stuff that's like they're going to be into. And so it became like a thing like that I would always play every year for the medical staff, you know, all through high school and all that. It was great.
That's cool.
It's good memories.
You know, the light in your eyes. Yeah, I say all the time, I wish people could see what we're doing here because the light in your eyes, you just love what you're doing.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm so, you know, I think about this. There was a time when I was, you know, really performing a lot. I can remember this very, very vividly, where I found myself saying things like, oh, I got to do a show tonight. And I never actually felt that way, but I realized that language was really bad because I get to do a show tonight. Yeah. And I think about that now, and it really changed my whole, because I've always loved to perform, and I said, you know, I don't ever want to, you know, to sort of disrespect it, you know, in that way. Yeah. Because I've met some really famous people who do other things, and when you ask them what they would want to do with their life, they're always like, oh, I would do what you do. They say it to me all the time. Yeah, yeah. I've met neurosurgeons and all these people, and they say, geez, if I could get up and sing in front of people. So.
No, that's great. You know, that's why I say to Jerry, I say all the time, I like musicians more than I like music. I mean, you do something that's totally human and something left here forever. Now, I just mentioned that I wish people this was video so they could see the light in your eyes. Do you know the other reason that I wish this was video? So people can see this price tag that you have on your guitar. Now, now was this like a smash and grab or something? Why is there a price tag hanging off of your guitar?
Well, in our little town of Brockport, New York, we decided to, my wife and I, we were getting Chinese food one night, and she has always been a little frustrated with the amount of guitars I have. And she said to me, she's like, you know, there's a storefront for rent right here next door. Why don't you open a guitar shop? Okay. So literally on a whim in February of was it last year? Yeah, February of this year, I just leased the space and opened a guitar shop in Brockport, New York. So now, see, it works out really well because anytime I want to go play a gig anywhere, I just grab a guitar. They're mine anyway.
look at the price of that thing. Oh, my Lord.
Well, this is a very, very good guitar.
Well, of course.
If I'm going to go on a radio show, you want something that's good.
Well, this radio show, you do that for this radio?
I would do it for, that's, you know.
Okay.
This is not a cheap one. But I think Jerry can attest to the quality of this instrument.
Does that include the rust proofing package or, you know, the extended warranty? Or, I mean, what is that? Or
I'll come and sing you a lullaby at the foot of your bed if you buy this guitar. That is, you heard it here.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you know, okay, I'm going to give you a break right now. So let's mention the name of your business, and you know, and you know, we have guitar players out there want to come and see you. I'm sure.
Oh, we would love the Wilson's Guitar. It's Wilson's Guitar Shop, 72 Main Street, Brockport, New York.
Okay, so why don't you play a little something for us something that's your favorite? How about that?
Well, Bill just reminded me that I do one of Jerry's songs, so I figured that's a nice way to sort of combine things here. So I'll do. This is a song from.
Is there some reason you have to butter up Jerry? Is that he's not he's not like the leader of the group, is he?
Well,
yeah.
Jerry,
Okay.
I mean,
What?
I don't know how long you've known Jerry, but Jerry makes stuff happen, right? I mean,
Okay.
I feel like this is a fair assessment of this man's skills. So we always sort of,
Jerry's the master collaborator.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it. So
Okay.
this is
you got 4 minutes to give me your best. Go ahead.
this is one of Jerry's, I think, most special songs. It demanded that I record it. The sky is dying red tonight. I'm driving down the coast. Your face is everywhere I go. It haunts me like a ghost. And I won't sleep well tonight. No, I won't sleep well tonight. A tempest and a hurricane, the calm before the storm. How could something run so cold that used to be so warm? And I won't sleep well tonight. No, I won't sleep well tonight. And it's too late to turn back now. Yes, it's too late to go home. And it's too late to change your mind. It's too late this time. Oh, it's much too late this time. And I won't sleep well tonight. No, I won't sleep well tonight.
Wow. That was absolutely beautiful.
Well, thank you. It's a great, I mean, this is, I have to say this, and I say this every time I sing this song, because Jerry writes a lot of songs. He's a very prolific writer. He writes a lot of songs. That song, the moment I heard it, we were doing a songwriter evening that's not dissimilar to one that we're going to do actually tomorrow night at my barn, but where everybody sings a song, and we just go round robin style. He sang that song, and I just immediately, I said, I have to sing that song, because that song leaves, it's one of those great songs that leaves, you can't see my hands. It's just one of those great songwriter songs.
And with that, we are going to go into our last break, and we're going to come back and talk to Bill. This is Dom. Hey, I love my old Shelby Mustang convertible, but under no circumstances do I drive it during the winter. I store it at the Car Club of Rochester on Brighton Henrietta Town Line Road. If you have a car to be stored, they have an immaculate climate-controlled facility that looks more like a museum. They can also doll up your ride, or you can buy the products to do it yourself at their car boutique. Check them out at carclubrochester.com. That's carclubrochester.com. Well, welcome back. You're listening to the No Nonsense Roundtable. We are here with three gentlemen who are going to be performing at Bishop Kearny on the 25th with what sounds like from everything I've heard today so far is going to be a spectacular show with a lot of different dimensions to it. But my charge right now is to talk to the person to my left, Bill. And Bill, I'm going to ask you the same question. What was the first paid gig you had?
Well, first of all, I got a comment that the song that Chris just did, the first time I heard you sing it, I fell in love with that song too, and it's incredibly powerful song, and it's put you in a really, really beautiful place. And Chris, you just elevate it. I'm glad I suggested that we do that song to tie us together and to show what respect there is in this room amidst these musicians. And that kind of expands to all of the people that we bring to this concert. So as Jerry mentioned, we've done this show probably 4 times now, and it's a single musician and a rock band and a contemporary jazz quintet, which is a real diverse group of people. But you would be really impressed with the collegiality that happens between all the musicians and the respect that's afforded to everybody. So I just wanted to say, Chris, every time I hear you, you just melt my heart. So I really, really...
That's why I love hanging out with these guys.
Absolutely.
They say things like that.
Well, you know, I have this expression. I told Jerry this before. And actually, every once in a while I have the honor of giving a class at RIT, the business school. And I said, you have to understand, not everybody that plays the piano can make music. Not everybody that plays the guitar can make music. You can practice over and over and over again. And some people have a gift. You know, you obviously have a gift. I'm just like, my daughter's a professional photographer. She sees things that we don't see. She's got a gift. And the thing I think is finding your gift and then working to develop it. So, Bill, I'll get back to you rather than talking to Chris.
No, it's okay.
What was your first pay?
I want to talk about Jerry for a second. Is that okay?
Okay.
Because his songwriting...
You can talk about me if you want.
We will. Well, okay.
After you get in the car leaving, yes, you're going to talk about me.
I love your approach is that you obviously love what you're doing. So thank you for having us. But
my pleasure.
Jerry's songwriting is incredible. And every song I've ever heard of his recordings and then things that we've done live, and I've done a few things with Jerry's band on recording, has been just incredibly great writing, and a collaborative spirit exists in the writing too. He works with lyricists. He works with, great musicians who he kind of handpicks. This particular Liar's Moon has taken years to come to fruition, and he handpicked these musicians. So I think people need to understand that there's some incredible gifts that are shared, not just that you see a band leader, a singer, songwriter, but they're shared gifts. And that's what makes, I think, the three of us in our musical families, I think makes us click, is there's a sharing and a desire to be generous with what we have. And Jerry's kind of the leader of that because he puts people together. And I actually approached you about having my band do some work with Liar's Moon or in the songwriter cycle. Bill Welch is a real close musical friend and a great friend of mine forever, was doing some things. And I kind of approached you and said, what do you think about doing instrumental music in some of your collaborative? And he jumped on that and he said, this would work. And a lot of people would be, it doesn't quite fit the vibe. So you were going to ask my first paid gig. I think I did a ton of free gigs before I ever got paid. And in college, you just do gigs because you're trying to learn how to play. And in the jazz world, there's this whole kind of process where you go and you pay your dues. You learn tunes, and you get together with musicians who are way better than you are, and you don't expect a dime. And so I probably did dozens of gigs in college before I ever made a dime. And then out of college, I played in cover bands as a saxophone player, and did rock and roll, and played in bars, played in parties, and I still do today. I love it. I love those kinds of things.
So, Jerry, tell me, what is the easiest way to get tickets for your performance?
Well, I think if you were to go to No Nonsense Round Table, right? Roundtable.com. No nonsense. I do this when I sing too. No nonsense. Roundtable.com. We'll have a link to the to tickets on that.
www.nonsenseroundtable.com, and it'll be right there as opposed to the one that you were suggesting, which is tinyurl // Al Gore. I don't know what you were thinking, but wonder. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, musicians are really, really, really wonderful musicians. They're marketing wise, that's why they have agents and stuff like that. So we have another 3.5 minutes or so, and Chris, if you would honor us with a little bit more music to take us out of the show and close it out, I would be honored.
Sure thing. All right. This is a song. Actually, this is a song my mom wrote.
Wow.
Which is a story for that I'll tell at the show that day.
Okay.
Take me down the highway. Take me down the way you came, and show me now the lights of the city late at night. Take me down, take me down, take me down. I've been lost for a while now, just wondering which way to go. But now I know it's time to leave the past behind. Take me down, take me down, take me down. Take me down the highway. Take me down the way you came. Show me now the lights of the city late at night. Take me down, take me down, take me down. Take me down the highway. Take me down the way you came. Show me now the lights of the city late at night. Take me down, take me down, take me down.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming in. This was a real treat. Everybody, remember, it's on the 25th. You can get your tickets by going to nononsenseroundtable.com. It'll be right there on the front page. And until next week, we'll see you then.
Thanks for listening. Tune in every Saturday from 10 to 11 on News Radio Wham 1180. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.